Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to AER Memories of Old. I believe that's the name of this game. It would be nice if I paused the game and it actually told me this logo. So we kind of died at the end of the last recording and it fast traveled us to this city area over in the west, or the east, if I can get the cardinal directions correct. And it seems like there's a decent amount of people all around, ghost memories. I don't know if any of it matters so much. Like, yeah, I kind of question. We're just getting into the story. I would argue though that the fact that there are people wandering around this world and you're seeing little bits of that is probably better than what the game The Witness did, where you're in this world that is just devoid of any real human interaction. Like, apparently there was a whole fight here where the soldiers trying to stab a kid. Seems pretty obvious that the man who calls himself a god king is not a good guy. Kuroku, which reminds me of Naraku from an anime. What is that one called? It's been a long time. It went for a very long time. So here's another guy with a sword. So yeah, we're getting stories. Here's a slightly different looking tree that seems like it can jump through. There's kind of an inconsistency on the plants side of all this. I've still yet to find any treasure or any real secrets. And I have the key, so I'm looking for the temple, which I believe is a little bit more north of this area. I don't think I'm supposed to follow these and do anything with them. Like, I like the fact that there are animals around. That is another thing you could easily criticize The Witness for, is that it was so tightly designed to not have any humans or animals move around or be in any way visible or in existence at all, that the world felt very dead and odd. Where I am for one glad the God King is here to protect us from those southern brutes. Says the guy on the throne. Here we have a fox, but I can't do anything with it. And at least it's alive. We saw a bunch of dead animals at the beginning of the southern areas. Here's another dead animal. See, I'm just kind of exploring this island. But honestly, I feel like there's little reason to explore the island, and this isn't gonna work. So I guess the assumption here is that these sky people never invented slingshots or guns or any kind of propulsion based weapons that they used. Here's a great example of ivy. It'd be really nice if I could climb it, but I can't. which I don't know if I really need to climb, but that's just kind of a wall. Alright. Over there, over here, let's see if we can fly to the top of this. And in we go. And see, I feel like all the temples should be kind of like that, where you're coming in. Look how big these scrolls are. It would make a lot of sense if you were always coming in from the top. Let's see. Read part 1. The Goryon of the Storm Isles from his son Taozu, father, is sorry that I must tell you the loss of the Snow Crane Library. The palace guard in the city of On came in the night carrying weapons and shouting the name of the king Kuroku. Well, that was short and sweet. Thank goodness for that. They destroyed and burned houses and scrolls alike and would have burned us too, had we not been able to escape. We watched from a safe distance, keeping close the few precious scrolls we had saved. And so these are maybe the scrolls they had. Maybe they were giant people. We will journey to the monastery in the northwest to place the scrolls in its safety. I trust it's too far away for Crocker's wrath and too poor to excite his greed. The spirit crane will lead us until the snow line and then return home south with my letter to you. I hope he finds you well. Alright, I'm just referencing the island, trying to get it. Like, clearly I'm not gonna see all of this. And if there is some kind of achievement to see every single memory, I give up. I give up right now. I should have given up maybe a little bit earlier than that. Sound still very much feels like it's all over the place too. Yeah, it just kind of sucks how this the sound effects are so loud and they just kind of show up and happen. And we found another twin-tail fox. See, directly behind me is a couple islands that are getting mentioned on the map. I imagine if a island is shown on the map, it probably has something, at least one thing on it. But maybe that's not really the case. See a big stone pillar on this, and it makes like a crescent moon shape, as if this was all one temple at one time and the center of the temple has been destroyed. I wonder if that's the implication they're trying to make here, is that this world was just supposed to be a demo for a much bigger game, and you were going to play, and then at some point you were going to bring back the worlds, and there would be a lot more temples and a lot more adventure to happen. Yeah, it seems like over there's some activity. Let's jump down here. Unfortunately, Forgotten Key, the developers of this game, are now out of business, and they didn't make any other game on Steam as far as I can tell. Kanzo South are proud people, even now before the threat of the so-called God King Kuroku, they will not bow. Before the cities of Urz, Ha, and On were built, many of their shifters chose the deer as the spirit animal, the protector. But slowly their spirits succumbed to sadness, and they blamed the gods for the darkness in the world. The darkness invited into their hearts spread further. If this is true, so is the opposite existence of light, and there is hope. I am Kashara of the Eastern Islands, the first shifter in 10 generations. My spirit animal chose me, and I will fight. I will travel north to the monastery to join the other priests. Seems like we're getting several points here that are telling us go north. But I'm not sure if they mean just slightly north. The problem with this is they keep saying north when we need some landmarks. Because if they had told me travel to the city of On, then I could have flown in the general area, and if the map was a little bit better, it would, well, it does say we actually are in the ruins of On. But yeah, some landmarks certainly would be a better description than everything just saying travel north, travel south, travel here, travel there. Here we can see some floating like machinery and sewer system in the central island. This guy's just floating in the air. There's nothing more we can do. The machine is an ancient accident waiting to happen. We got too greedy. So apparently there was just an explosion. Yeah. And yeah, the explosion seemed to blew everybody back away from it. So I can use the left bump to try to go through here, but that doesn't seem like it does anything. Unless I'm supposed to do something crazy, like pull up straight through that, and that doesn't look like that does anything. Flying straight up is not something I can really do. So let's go this direction and see if maybe these islands have anything important on them. And honestly, it probably isn't. There probably isn't anything on them. I think we just need to go a little bit north. Oh, here's something different. I don't remember this place being here. The land's drifting in the wind. We need to hurry if we want to reach someplace safe. So yeah, it's a statue of a crane. And it looks like that would be something, but I'm not seeing anything. And the only other thing we have is these little spots of islands that when we see these little wind streams, I think these spots of islands and the wind streams are there just to indicate this is where you would go to get a boost to travel to a different area, because they are actively trying to separate out the sections. I'm not really seeing. See, that's pushing me back towards the tree, which is not where I want to go. I want to go more in a northern easterly direction, so that's just going to boil down to me going this way. Let's see. Yep, and we should discover a new area this direction. The Eastern Steppes. And see, now the Eastern Steppes are pretty sparse compared to the ruins of On. Let's see. The guard tower has fallen. Help me search for survivors. Here we've got some kind of rabbits. Let's just fly. Nothing here. I really wouldn't buy the argument that this low polygon Unity assets that they used were needed because of the lighting effects of this lantern. Sure, you could say that if you wanted to get really awesome with a game like this, you would use the new NVIDIA ray tracing, which, like, let's face it, no indie developer is going to program their game to support ray tracing for several years, if not a decade, if ever. But you could easily have had realistic textures. Like, we've seen several other games that have realistic textures that also have lighting effects on them. And there's ways to do it even if you have to cheat it. So this does look like a big machine. And it seems like I see a pillar of light in that direction. It would be weird if the daughter ends up appearing somewhere in the far distance of the map. But I suspect that might be the case. We may find her, or she may play a bigger role. So it seems like it's some giant machine designed to pull a chain. Let's just stand on one of these to make sure it doesn't activate something. The only other things we have are the couple islands. And see, I don't get where a key would unlock a temple if the temple is being made by a more modern time. Because it felt like the temples up until this point were being made by ancient, like, magic gods, not the humans. But I guess this is gonna work. We've got a big platform here, and maybe they let go of me. This is holy grounds, not just another power source for the taking. So they They did build a machine on top of the temple. So open the temple then. I wonder how much damage this is going to do. I thought it might just break the whole thing, blow it up. Nope. It instead made a clockwork door open. Okay, Temple 2. Here we go. And not sure I particularly am missing anything flying around. There's a lot of wasted space here. A lot of wasted like content that you'll just never do anything with. That was weird. See, I'm trying to be about as generous as possible, but the truth is, it's kind of boring. Like, wandering around an empty world with barely just a few things to find. Unless this game, we're now approaching, like, I guess when we're halfway through this temple, we'll be halfway through the game, and without a motivator, without a reason to want to find everything, short of achievements that I'm not even seeing because I turned off achievements on Steam. I just kind of want to rush through it and see the rest of a story that's barely comprehensible because of its being originally not in English. How's the Western Monument coming along? So apparently they were building statues to Korok. Would be my guess. Maybe destroying statues of other people. Feels like these squares are gonna play a role. And it feels like maybe we'll go in a full circle. I'm not sure why he wanted to make voids though. Just to get power. And we see people walking, but I don't know if maybe this is somebody forcing somebody else to do work. This would be a great point for a push puzzle, where if I could slide these things and grab on them, that would be cool. That's not what we're seeing. If I could push and slide on a lot of these boxes, that would be cool. If I could break pots, that would be cool. Let's see, there's more of these broken statue, although that is just the same 3D model as before. So it's not more of, it's just the same one done again. Okay. I can be here, and am I going up or am I going down? Seems like going up is the right direction, because it seems like if I fall down, again, I can't transform. Yeah, if I fall down, it seems like I'll just have to start all over again. But that took me downward, and that's not coming back. Sure would be nice if we could run. So yeah, I don't get that. We can run back if we want to, But apparently that's not what we're supposed to do. Seems like it just goes down and down and down. It might be easiest just to jump straight down. We've got a door that might open, or might not. There were plenty of doors in the previous temple that didn't open. It's hard to convince somebody to not jump downward when you have no fall damage. The dreams of the people are calm again. I hope the ordeal with the king is nothing more than an old man worrying about nothing. And I made it up here, and I don't think I was particularly supposed to be able to. Or it didn't matter. Yeah, if I was speedrunning this game, I would just jump straight down. Here's a door that seems to not be activated, even though I have the lantern. So, both on and off, the lantern doesn't work. Here's a scroll that's missing. So we'll just jump down over here and save ourselves a little bit of walking. If they were going to do an idea of anti-lanterns that like glowed and made it darker, and then you had like a slingshot or some kind of projectile weapon to break those lanterns or turn them off for a short amount of time, that would have been a cool idea. It's kind of like a lot of cool ideas that you could put into something like this. I mean, it's hard to even call this a Legend of Zelda clone at this point. All I can really call it is a just unfinished game. The elevator isn't working again. Who keeps turning off the main switch? Honestly, if this was going to be a pure platformer, like a 3D platformer, then you get into something like Mario 64, Mario Odyssey, where you would need collectibles, moons, stars, coins. That might make some sense. We found a fortune. There are multiple pockets of air below. Loads more than we had anticipated. So this is the first mention, I believe, of AER. So that's weird. Is this the way we came down? I think this is. Yeah. Honestly, even if it wasn't the way we came down, I don't think I want to go back up. So it's extremely late in the game for that to be mentioned. There's a little cave over here. Let's see where this cave leads to. One more scroll. When the gods still walked the world and lands were whole, they lived in a great teacher with a short temper. The scholars gathered to listen to him. A young scholar who had not paid attention and attracted his eye. Fetch me the snow scrolls from the monastery at the roof of the world, he was told. But the north is cold and the snow was thick. The scholar got lost in the storm and had to seek shelter in the cave. Tired, he closed his eyes for a few heartbeats. When he opened his eyes again, he saw strange signs on the ice walls. He took his chisel and hammered them out into thin scrawls. He traveled back, but the lands had changed and no one knew the old man that asked for a teacher who had been dead for 100 years. When the old man wanted to show the snow scrolls as proof of his story, they had melted, and seeing it, the old man died too. Again, these feel like maybe these are moral plays or Germanic fairy tale style stories, but it still feels very pseudo-intellectual. It definitely still feels like we're just getting told some very basic generic stories that don't really connect to anything. Wouldn't it be funny if water is what they called air? Now we have this case of flickering blue light, which seems to only indicate more problems. So 1, 2, I think there will be a 3. No, just 2. 2 doors are now running. And we've got another place that's not activated. So yes, there are 3 doors that have to be open to open this dig site built on top of a temple. The question I suppose to ask would be, when we finish the dig for the temple, is there a temple inside of that, making this a particularly large temple or not? I'm always disappointed when there's nothing hidden behind a waterfall. If you're gonna put a waterfall in your game, hide something behind it. Even if it's just a pointless Easter egg. Let's activate this and see what this activates. Okay. So there isn't even a third area, particularly, it's just this over here. Alright, well, that doesn't strike me as something that's going to be too difficult or take too long to do. And we're kind of in a weird position in the first place because, yeah, at this point I kind of do want to just rush through to the end of the game. It doesn't feel like this is giving me anything. It's like an all-you-can-eat salad bar when all you really want is a steak. It's just giving me fluff as far as the gameplay is, and I'm ready to just say, okay, let's just see this to the end, see what happens. If it unlocks some kind of new game plus or something that makes a lot more sense, that's fine. If the achievements are just randomly appearing as I'm unlocking every door, that's also a possibility. I might be getting achievements just for playing the game normally and unlocking things that it would be impossible to miss. I don't mind that terribly when a game has achievements that you 100% just playing the story mode, but it feels like there should be at least one that is somehow earned. Even that being said, though, it doesn't really matter. So many people don't even play games to the end. It is quite an achievement a lot of times just to make it to the end. This is a great example too. I could see a lot of people an hour into this just being bored, and yeah, it totally feels like why nobody would have really reviewed this when it first came out too, is that you play it for 3 hours, you go, it's alright. It's an exploration game where you jump a little bit and you activate really simplistic puzzles and you don't really do anything else other than read. And yeah, the writing is not working in English at all. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wish list. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.